everyone, I hope you've been really well since the last time I saw you guys or talked to you guys. I'm back today to share a homemade natural body butter. I've just been finding that this winter, more than any other winter in the past, my skin has been extremely itchy, and especially my legs. And last year I used this Kiehl's Creme de Corps and it seemed to work for me last year. But first of all, it didn't work for me this year, and second of all, I ran out. And then I tried this body butter from The Body Shop, and this definitely didn't work either. And this isn't nearly as, I guess, thick as this one. Or it is as thick, but it's not as moisturizing as this one. I just happen to have some ingredients on hand, as I do. And I was like, why don't I make my own body butter and give it a shot? So I made this shea butter and coconut oil based body butter, and it turned out really well. It's been working for me. My legs aren't nearly as itchy. With those products, with the body butter from Body Shop, my legs would be itchy within an hour or so of applying it. With the Kiehl's, maybe like 3 or 4 hours. But with the one I made at home, anywhere from like 12 plus hours. So maybe even 24 until my next shower. So I think it's been really effective. Of course, it's actually cheaper than buying some of these things. I just have the mini of this body butter here, but this retails for $6. The full size is, I think, $20, which I think is pretty crazy for 6.7 ounces or something. And this little guy, 2.5 ounces, is $11. So, I mean, I made my shea butter, body butter, for about $5 or $6. Like I said, it is a shea butter and coconut oil based body butter. You can experiment with different carrier oils depending on what kind of skin type you have or what kind of skin needs you have. Generally speaking, people like to use stuff like jojoba oil or almond oil because it absorbs better into the skin. It's not really overly greasy, and it kind of gives you a velvety texture. So I chose jojoba oil, but I also mixed in with that some rosehip seed oil because my skin, I had been scratching my legs and it was starting to get rough in spots, and I was afraid that it was gonna like sort of not scab but turn into like some sort of mark or scar that wouldn't go away. And one of the benefits of rosehip seed oil is that it helps fade scars and sort of replenish the skin. So I added some of that in, and actually rosehip seed oil naturally is a dry oil, so like jojoba oil, it absorbs really nicely into the skin. It's not greasy at all. It's actually got a powdery velvety texture, so that really helped with the formulation of my body butter. And let me show you what it turned out like. It looks like this. It literally looks like butter. And it's very similar in texture to the Body Shop body butter, if you look at that. Mine has a more of a yellowy tint because of the rosehip seed oil, which is naturally like a neon kind of bright orange, like this color, so a little bit darker than this. This is actually more difficult to apply, I found, than my homemade butter. This is just not as smooth going on. This, when you put it on your skin, melts just like butter. It's very kind of creepy. Like you could probably eat it if you really wanted to. The nice thing about this is that even though it goes on like butter and you can see the oil on your skin, it absorbs so quickly and it gives this really luxurious velvety feel to it. So I'm going to teach you how to make about this sized amount, which for me would last about 3 weeks. I wouldn't recommend keeping it around for too long since it is all natural anyway, so I like to make my natural products in smaller portions. Now, if you have a bigger family or maybe you're giving it as a gift or something, you might want to double this recipe or triple it or whatever. But anyway, I will link down below my blog post about this with the written down recipe if you don't want to like keep rewatching this video to see what the measurements of everything is. I will post the blog down below so you can just print it out or copy it or whatever. You'll be needing shea butter, coconut oil, jojoba oil or your oil of choice, and more than one if you'd like, but keep in mind that in any sort of solid recipe like this, you want to keep the liquid oils to a minimum because it won't achieve this sort of solid, state if you have too much liquid oil. So I think it's like 1/4 to 1/3 of the recipe should be a liquid oil. So anyway, keeping that in mind, use whatever oils you'd like to use. But olive oils and avocado oils tend to be a little bit more on the oily side. Also, I use vitamin E, which is a natural sort of preservative, but it doesn't, it's not a miracle. It's not like real chemicals that can help extend the shelf life for, I don't know, like 6 months or anything. But anyway, I do use vitamin E to just help it along a little bit. And then essential oils for scent, if you'd like your body butter to have a nice scent. I chose to use lavender and palmarosa. I chose these because they have natural skin healing benefits and sort of soothing benefits, and that's exactly what my skin needs right now. Palmarosa, if you haven't heard of it, I think it's a flower, and it's supposed to smell like geranium, but I have no idea what geraniums smell like. So to me, what this smells like is natural rose hips with that sort of like orangey scent to it, or it smells like vitamin C tablets, like the chewable ones that you eat as a kid, but not as sweet. So it's got a definite kind of orangey sour scent to it, but not sharp. It's like a very mellow orangey scent. You can choose whatever essential oil you like. If you are concerned about any of the benefits that the essential oils might have, like skin soothing or whatever, then go ahead and choose whatever scent you like. Peppermint's always a popular scent. There's rosemary, eucalyptus, orange, lemon, the world is your oyster. So, and don't add too much. Well, I mean, I'm making a small batch, so I added about 10 drops total. But anyway, I will go into that in the video footage I'm about to insert right now. So here are all of my ingredients. I've got coconut oil, shea butter in the back. I've got lavender essential oil, palmarosa essential oil, vitamin E as a preservative, jojoba oil, and pure rosehip seed oil. To start off with, I'm putting 2 tablespoons of shea butter into a glass container. I'm using glass because I'm going to be creating a double boiler later, which just means that I'm using the heat from a pot of boiling water to melt the shea butter instead of using direct heat. To the shea butter, I'm adding also 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. Now I'm adding a half tablespoon of jojoba oil, and then to that later I'm going to be adding another half tablespoon of rosehip seed oil. If you want to make this fluffier, I would suggest using a greater concentration of liquid oil, maybe about 2 tablespoons of liquid oil altogether. If that's going to be a mixture of jojoba oil and some other oil, then it's 1 tablespoon of each. But if you want a more butter-like texture like mine turned out, then I would use a total of 1 tablespoon of oil. I'm creating a double boiler by heating about 1/4 to 1/3 of a pot of water over high heat. You don't want to fill the pot too high with water because once it boils, it's going to probably run over and you might get hurt. I'm putting the glass container into the water and I'm going to let it start melting. Now both the coconut oil and shea butter have started melting, but you can see that the shea butter is still pretty solid, so I'm just running a chopstick around and trying to get it to melt a little faster. The water hasn't even come to a boil yet, and the coconut oil is completely melted, just the shea butter is left, and here the water is actually boiling, and I'm trying to get the shea butter to dissolve completely. I've turned off the heat and I'm just going to add a few drops of vitamin E to help prolong the butter's longevity. Now I'm going to add my essential oils. I've chosen lavender and palmarosa, and I've pulled the glass container completely away from the heat. So now I'm going to mix in about 4 to 5 drops of each of the essential oils to my mixture. And now just mix well. After I'm done, I'm going to transfer the mixture to a metal bowl and let it cool to room temperature. And then I'm going to let it rest in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes for this amount until it looks kind of soft but kind of firm. My camera ate the footage, but I used a hand mixer on this and whipped it for about 10 to 15 minutes until it turned into this, and then you put it in a jar and let it cool in the refrigerator for a little bit, and then you're done. Okay, so I hope that was fairly easy to follow along. Like I said, this makes a small portion about this size, and for me this would last about 3 weeks maybe. A little bit does go a long way because it's literally like butter, and you just wipe a little bit. Ooh, that came off. That's like way too much. This is probably enough for like my hands right now, so maybe not quite, but almost. And it does come off greasy like this, but it absorbs almost immediately. Oh, it's already dry pretty much. It feels oily, but it does feel smooth, and the most important thing for me is that it moisturizes and it doesn't make my legs, or it prevents my legs from itching. So I hope this was helpful to you as usual, and if you have any questions about this body butter or maybe other substitutions, or if you've used other recipes, let me know down below. I'm always happy to try new things, and I love experimenting. And you know what? This is gonna run out in 3 weeks. Although hopefully my legs will stop itching finally within the next 3 weeks. I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.